Hello, Never Enough. I am Isabella. This is my brother Gabriel. This is Lola. This is my mom. And this is Never Enough's third podcast.
I'm really excited that we're all here together. I think it's a really neat perspective because each one of us has been to Honduras at different times, and then some of us together. So yeah, what are your guys' thoughts and perspectives on the recent trip and then your trip? And
I've heard that the people there treated you really well. But when I got there, I was just blown away by how they served us. It was just crazy, because in America, we take everything so for granted here. And with them over there, they have so little, and they treated us so well, giving us whatever they could. We went to the mall with Iris's mother, and
Sister Claudia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she just, we were walking around, we didn't really know what to do, but then she was like, "Do you guys want some ice cream?" And we, I was thinking, maybe we should pay or pay, I was expecting to, and then she just paid for us, that was cool. And I know that we had more money than she probably did, too, so, that was cool.
Yeah. So I went in August of 2014. So that was my first trip to Honduras. And to be honest, I was really exhausted to go to Honduras because we had just come off of camp. And then I think I only had 4 or 5 days and then had to turn right back around and pour out in a sense again. Mm-hmm. And I had gotten sick between camp and Honduras. In fact, I ended up in the emergency room one night and I was like, oh my gosh, nervous about it in a sense, naturally. And just with my body, it's wise, to, of course, to take care of your body and to listen to your body's limitations and its needs and all of those kinds of things. But I would have to say, spiritually, I had never sensed a pull and the desire. I could sense their desire to host us and have us when I went in 2014. And it was really it was a really unique experience in that sense, because I really felt like I was going because they wanted and needed me to go, not just me, me, but the team, the team and what we were carrying and what we had for them. And then this time when I went, so now this is the second time that I've gone to Honduras, and I don't believe that it will be my last. So, and I hope it won't be my last. But this time I tried to go with a mindset of it's not only what I have to give or what we have to give, I really want them to know, I want to receive from them. And so I really went wanting to receive from them. And that was, I think that I was able to do, not that anybody isn't able to do that, but I felt like I was prepared and ready to do that in my heart because I had gone before and I knew, they think that we're powerhouses. They are powerhouses.
They are,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was really cool, going with that expectation of, I think something for me was I was going with the expectation to, more, speak and talk to people and that type of thing, whereas I was able to actually do, praise and worship there, which was really cool, because I went with my dad, and then I went with Trinity and Marissa and Kelsey, Michael and Tyler, and Kelsey, Trinity, and Marissa all sing as well. And then Tyler plays instruments. So then we were able to, they really, pushed us to do songs in Spanish and do praise and worship songs that we knew, which was really cool. And I think, they received a lot from that. But then, I received a lot even just, learning how to flow with them, which was really cool.
Yeah, that is really neat. Mm-hmm.
Before we went, I was asking Moses, a lot of questions. And he was telling me, what's going to be happening. We're going to be talking the whole, a lot, a bunch of other stuff. But like I don't know, I just didn't really expect like praise and worship to be that good, you know. Like they're all just like going all out, you know. It's crazy.
Yeah, they went all out with, and then they pulled us too to come with them. They like pulled us to the front, and like there was one song where they would have like a little instrumental part, and they would like spin us around and like walk around the whole room like that. Yeah, that was cool.
I think one of my favorite things about their praise and worship is how young kids are incorporated in like their main praise and worship. I think that's really cool. Like kids like Santiago and Timothy's age are like doing praise and worship.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome.
You know, this time around, I mean, it was so welcoming my first time that I was there. But this time around, I really felt like it was like a home, like, you know, almost like a second home. It was just so, I mean, not only like the country and where we stayed, but like the people, you know, like I think here, you know, we've been a part of, you know, we've been at our church, you know, since you guys were little. Like Gabriel, you were in the nursery, you know, when we started at church, and, you know, Timmy was a baby. Santiago wasn't even born yet. And our church here is really like an extension of our family, right? I mean, would you guys agree with that? Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of what we do is, you know, centered and focused on church, and you know, we have great connections there. But I didn't feel like that was missing when I was there, like in their church, you know, like being at Casa de Dios and then the other churches that we visited, I really felt embraced, and I felt like well taken care of. There wasn't a time, especially this time, like there wasn't a time that I felt lonely or like I was lacking or that I couldn't, you know, I didn't feel like unsure about myself or anything, you know what I mean? Like I really felt embraced, like it was family.
I think something that was really cool, because when I went, you had gone the 2 years before I went in 2016 for spring break. And when I went, people recognized me or like knew that I was your daughter. Oh,
and like, that's weird. How did they know that?
I wonder. We don't look nothing alike. But like they, like what you're talking about, like opening, like they embraced me so well. Like I like remember like people like coming and giving me hugs and then asking me like how you were doing and stuff. Like they knew me and they knew my family already, just because you went a few years before. Yeah. And like that was something I wasn't expecting, was like for people to be like, oh, you're Veronica's daughter and stuff like that. Yeah. I think that was really cool.
It was really special, I think, this time around too for us, because we've never, so like I've gone, you know, to other countries and, you know, other places, and your dad has too, right? But your dad and I have never gone like to do something like this together. Like we've always gone separate. So that was really like, that was really neat. That was really special.
Yeah. I was very excited for you guys to go together. I thought that was cool.
Probably the most memorable thing was when we went to the hospital. That was really cool. Just seeing like the youth. We went with the youth, and just like our youth group would have never done what they did, how outgoing they were, just to pray for people and spread like Jesus' name to them. Like if you trust, like, you know, they were just doing that, like you, and then how they gave out food and stuff. That was really cool. Just being at the hospital.
Mine, most memorable moment when I was there was probably when we went to go get pizza. How like all the girls were going crazy on the bus, and then Moses turned around, Moses.
Why was that? Like just because they were so excited, or like was there more layers to it that was like, so memorable for you? That, and also like sitting with Chino and the two other dudes. I don't know, like me and the dude, like seeing who can eat the most. I thought that was pretty cool. Like they said that he eats a lot, and then he took 2 slices after he finished his first one. I thought, oh, this dude's challenging me. You were up for the challenge.
And with that, with the pizza, like it was crazy to me that they, like for pizza, like that's such a treat for them.
Yeah,
like such a treat for them. And then for us, it's like, I'm eating pizza again. We're having pizza again. Like that was crazy to me. Like they don't always get that, and we complain about it. So that really was eye opening.
Yeah. I think for me, the most memorable this time around was going to, it's hard to say. It's like saying, like, what's your favorite Bible verse? Like, it's hard to pick like one moment, right? I could say like the hospital, that was really special, and like the pizza, the food, the people, all those things. But I think that the most memorable and why it was the most memorable for me, there are a few reasons, but we had the opportunity to go to the campground, right?
Oh yeah.
That was really neat. So I love the heart that they have to do like a camp, and I don't know if that was birthed out of because it's like what we do here, or if that's just something that that they've started on their own, or God placed in their hearts or whatever. But I know that it's something that they do just at the main church, right? Like over a weekend. And then they bought this property. I mean, you guys know, you were there, but they bought this property and they had like this grand vision of clearing this property. And it's like, it's a little ways outside of the city, and it's like you go in and there are some existing like foundation things, that they can build off of, but they have to clear the land, and they're going to have a kitchen there, and they're going to have like dormitories and a sanctuary and like different buildings on this property. And it was really neat because we were able to go, and I was all for like going and like helping to clear. And I saw it when I first saw it, and I was thinking like, how are we going to do this? Like, what are we going to do? What difference can we make? Right. Was kind of like what I was thinking. 'Cause there were so few of us. It was just us, just our team. Right. And, there's a lot to do there, but it was really neat because when we got there, the few people that came with us, just to see like how invested they were in clearing the land and doing something. Like they have a vision, and like they're going to see it come to pass. Like that was so memorable. And then they asked Gabe and I not to work, and I was like, hallelujah, you heard from the Lord. But just kidding. But they they asked us not to like work physically, but they wanted us to work like spiritually. So they asked us to walk the land and to to do whatever we wanted, but they wanted us to pray and declare and decree. And cool. That was like like makes me emotional. That was just so special, like to think that I don't know, it was just awesome, like just that merging, that partnership of like our heart for camp, to partner with their vision of what they have, that they want to see come to pass with their camp, and the services there and the experiences and all of that. I mean, that was just, man.
Yeah, that
awesome. Was something.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My most memorable moment. Oh, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know if I can pick just one.
Yeah.
Was probably the Saturday night we went to the church in Santa Maria, and we did praise and that was the first night we did praise and worship. Like our team really did praise and worship, where like we were leading songs and stuff, and there was people on the outside of the church that were looking in, and they weren't a part of the church, and like they weren't Christian or anything, but they were looking in and seeing them come inside and asking for Jesus to come to like be accepted in their heart. I think it was it 5 people that night that like accepted Jesus into their heart, and like seeing that, like them just watching and then entering in was really, really cool.
Yeah.
The person that I was talking about when I said that they like somebody who like really welcomed me because they knew you was Alice.
Oh.
She like the first time we like walked into the area and people were there and stuff, like she came and she gave me this big hug and she was so excited to meet me, and she like just really, I think while we were there, she just really made an effort to like make me feel comfortable and to like just enjoy like spending time together, which was really, really cool. Another person that I really felt like I made a connection with was Chino. On their way back on the bus from Santa Maria, we sat on the bus together and we talked the whole time, and like we were having trouble like translating and stuff, sadly, because I don't know Spanish. But at the end of the week, like we talked a lot and stuff, and then like we were able to play soccer with them and like different things like that throughout the week. But on the airport that day, the day we were leaving, they surprised us and they came and they saw us off and stuff, which was really cool. But he gave me a t-shirt that I told him that I liked he was wearing, and I still have it. And I don't know, like it doesn't even fit me anymore, but it's just like that special memory of like knowing that like we connected so well in Honduras was really cool.
I guess I made a relationship with a girl named Iris. She's real cute. Like she's real shy, but she's able to speak Spanish, so that's why we were able to connect more.
English?
Oh, English. She's bilingual. She goes to a bilingual school, so she learns English. And so she was able to talk with me in Paris, and if the other girls wanted to talk to us, she was able to translate. So that was really cool. She gave me this little ring, and she painted our nails, and we invited her over to the house during the day before we went to, I think I think it was before.
Albino?
Yeah, that one. After, yeah. So that was cool. Just making a relationship with her, even though she was like a few years younger than us, me and Paris. And also with Chino too. He was really welcoming, and he tried to connect with us, even with the little English that he knew. Mm-hmm. And he gave us all souvenirs. He gave me Paris bracelets. He gave Gabriel and Moses bracelets. So that was really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Love languages gifts.
Somebody who I made a relationship with, Chino. You know, Nigeria was closer. Yeah, he was just really welcoming and like just helped us with a lot of stuff, and he was really nice too, you know. And he gave us the bracelets. You know, that was like the dude who I that was the dude who I hanged out the most with, you know, when I was there.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, so going back the second time was, you know, that it was really neat because I was able to, you know, reconnect with people again, more than just, you know, through Facebook or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I would say when I was there in 2014, I connected a lot with Pastora Gisela. Yep. So Alice's mom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then this time I didn't get to spend as much time with her. There were some other things going on that she had to attend to. So connecting with Pastor Frank and his wife, Danya, was really neat. Like I really felt like there was a really strong connection. It was, yeah, you know how I was saying earlier about like that family, and even here in our church, right, you have like, you know, if we were to describe it in the sense of a family, like you have like your parents, you know, people that you would look to, like like a parent type figure, and people that you would look to maybe as like a brother sister type, you know, connection, and you know, and then you have your cousins who you're close to, but you don't connect with all the time, you know, like that, right? And like we could probably name all those people,
right?
That we have those types of feelings, you know, or connection with, relationship with at our own church. And I guess describing that about my relationships with people in Honduras was just, I would say, like, you know, like Pastor Francisco and his wife Danya was really, I really felt connected, like a kinship, like I don't know, like a brother and sister type, and it was neat because we were, we spent a fair amount of time with them, and it's nice because, right, we don't have the language barrier,
Right.
Down there, like we can speak in Spanish, and so that's nice. I think that's important too.
Nice.
Not that a language barrier should or could prevent anybody from, but we just had that extra,
It helps. Yeah.
yeah, definitely ability to connect with them, and spending time with them and talking about like what we would talk about with our close friends here, like family things and kids and different things. And I felt like when we were leaving to the airport on the day that we flew home and they were driving us and we were talking, and I felt like they're like they were talking about Timothy and Santiago and Mikael, and they have never even,
That's awesome.
they haven't even gone yet, Mikael and Timmy and Santiago, and they were talking about them like if they knew them, and so that was just that was really special. Yeah.
And it's cool, like, even thinking about, like, they haven't, like, Timmy and Santiago and Mika haven't gone yet, but, like, being able to, like, build those relationships now and then, like, see, that makes me excited for, like, when they are able to go and stuff. That would be cool.
Yeah. Yep, definitely.
Oh, Santiago, man. He's going to do so well down there.
He doesn't have a language barrier.
One thing that I wanted to do in Honduras, though, was play soccer with them.
Yeah, I want to play soccer and then play basketball against them.
Playing soccer against them was so much fun.
He was like,
I would be so scared.
I was terrified.
Gabriel is like, I'm okay getting defeated in soccer, but in basketball, man, they haven't seen nothing yet.
Like beat me in soccer and then not beat them in basketball, but we didn't play.
It didn't work out.
I played. Well, they did a bunch of different games, but I played Jenga, and I just destroyed.
Tell us how it was, like, how was it, like, how was it set up?
They picked somebody from each different church because there's a bunch of different churches there, and we lined up, and somebody would go and take one out, and then the next person would go and take one out, and then you just kept going until somebody knocked it over, and then that person was out. Well, when it got closer to the end, like people were making mistakes and stuff, but then I would go up there and just take one out, like it was nothing,
He's so cool.
It was fun.
Me and Paris are like sitting there like, oh my gosh, it's wobbly, like he's gonna lose, let's see who's next, and then he just go and he's like, whoop, takes it out, like we didn't even need to be worried that whole time.
I would try to go for like the harder ones closer to the bottom, because I would take like the two bottom ones at the end so I can mess other people up. That was fun, messing other people up.
I have a picture on my phone of, I think it's that round that you're talking about, where Gabriel was efficiently removing every single side Jenga piece for 4 levels.
I saw that. That made me laugh.
Like, the top was, the game was pretty intact, and then there were 4 levels on the bottom that had just one Jenga piece, like, holding it up.
When did you learn to get so good at this game?
I don't know. I don't even play the game like that.
I was like, we don't even play that game.
And then that other game that we played with them, like they had those, the wood.
Put our feet in the things.
I was going to say, what was that game?
That was so hard. I was wearing sandals, and it was like, I could not do that.
So what was the point of that? Or like what were you supposed to do with that game?
So there was these pieces of wood, thin pieces of wood that like you could put your feet on, and they have rope around it so where you can put your feet in, and then they have another big piece of rope where you could like hold and walk on, but there's 4 places for 4 people, so to walk you have to be together, right. And like it's separated, and then you had to like walk across the room and then go around this cone. People fell over, my feet were bleeding. No,
oh my gosh, intense.
No, but my feet were bruised because like I was wearing sandals and stuff. It was hard. And then I saw their like youth camp video, and then I was like, what? They've already played this game. Like, we have an unfair advantage, like us from America.
Oh my
That
goodness.
I could barely even feel my feet because this is so wide.
Yeah.
So it was like
I know they were telling him to
his
put it
front
in.
part, and I was like, I can't get it in.
I know they were telling him to like put his feet in more, and he's like, I can't.
They use like, I don't know, just stuff like, I don't know how to explain it.
It was like really creative, like things that you wouldn't necessarily expect to use for like a game.
That foot game, like, I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah, like I don't know if they came up with it or not, but like that was really creative if they did. Like we wouldn't have thought of that. You know, we would have just bought things, looked things up, you know?
Yeah, I think they had to be really resourceful,
Mhm,
right?
really,
And
yeah.
Yeah, like
would-
Jenga, that's just like a little game you play with your family every once in a while, you know? But that's like a rec game for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like
But
they
don't
were
you think they had just as much fun, like,
yeah.
that we would playing the rec games that we do?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And then like I also saw them beforehand. They were like sanding down the pieces of wood for Jenga. Like that's what they were doing. Like they probably cut that up when they were sanding it down so that they could play. Like we could have just bought one at the store.
Talk about being resourceful. What about that altar?
Oh,
Oh yeah.
they made an altar with rocks, and then they put, I don't know, it was like a famine in the middle that blew the fire up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had like cardboard figures of like people in the back, you know, and it said
Like a
consecrated.
silhouette.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it said consecrated at the altar. It's pretty cool.
That was really cool. Like they went down to the river and brought those rocks back up just to build that. Like they didn't.
And it was just for like that weekend, like for
Yeah.
us.
It was for us. Like
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
it was really
Mom
cool.
has a picture of it, right?
It was really cool. Yeah, I do have pictures of it. Like the way that so the theme of the conference this year was consecrated at the altar. And they created like this altar out of these river rocks, but not like river rocks like you pick up and like you skip down the river. Like it was like these big rocks, right? I don't know. There's probably maybe like 20, 25 rocks, and they brought them there to the church, and they like were able to stack them on each other, and it was beautiful. Like no joke, somebody here in America, or maybe, not just America, but other places would pay good money to have someone design that for them,
That's cool.
as like a wall or like a decorative piece in their yard or something like that.
Yeah.
Like they just did it. Like it was, and then behind it, what they did is they used some sort of paper or fabric or something, I'm not sure. And like Gabriel was saying, like they had a fan behind it, and they used that fabric or paper or whatever, and they created like flames out of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And then there was a cross behind that with the silhouette cutouts of two people like kneeling on each side of the cross, kneeling at the cross. And then they would turn that on, and like the flames went up. Like
That's
behind
cool.
It was really cool.
I think they had lights too
Yeah.
coming up out of it. That was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, just like the creativity, the desire, that's something that I was really impressed with, like the execution of like the things that they do, that they want to do, that they believe God's calling them to do.
Like you said, like they have a vision and they'll do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think that's cool. Like I'm so happy, like where like our youth group is we're able to do more things that like we're wanting to do and stuff, and like putting things into the youth hall and making changes and stuff. But like I think that's cool. Like they wanted to do something and they just did it. Like instead of like waiting and like finding the right time, or like when we have the amount of money or like the right tools and stuff like that. Like I think it's cool that they just like went and did something.
Yeah. Or like, who's going to be here to help? Or it was
Right.
like all hands on deck.
Yeah.
Like
all of them showed up.
Yeah, and like and then talking about like their desire and stuff, like watching like people pray over each other and like their hunger, like their services, like their normal services that we were at were like better than camp services. And like, those are their normal their normal services. I just think like it's really cool, like their desire and their hunger for God, like on a day-to-day basis compared to ours at a lot of times. And like miracles that happen that like you see there are like normal. Like that's something that just happens there.
There's like no other. Like
Yeah.
oftentimes we depend on like, not that we don't pray, not that we don't call out for a miracle or, you know, different things like that, but we have alternatives, right? Like of comfort, or even at the hospital, right? Like the beds, like they don't eat if they
don't have food,
if someone doesn't bring in food. You know, or they don't have the operation that they need if they don't have the money to pay right then and there.
They don't have even medicine. Sometimes the hospital doesn't even have medicine to give them.
Yeah.
They all had to share one room too.
Yeah, like 8 people in a room, 6 people in a room. No air conditioning except for in one side of the hospital, and that's only in the hallway.
Yeah. Like, and no sheets on the bed.
Mm-mm.
No, you know, like just.
Like no clothing. I don't even know if they had like showers or anything there. I don't know if they did or not.
I don't know. But, you know, and I say this, and I felt really checked, like, not when we were at the hospital, but even, like, going, that it's not for me to judge. Like, I think oftentimes as Americans, we travel to places that are, you know, are called third world countries, and, like, we have better, and, yeah, like, maybe we have, you know, we have more resources, it's, you know, more availability, whatever. But there are lots of areas where we're lacking in major ways in comparison to where they're not, right?
Yeah.
Like their closeness to God and their, you know, family connections and those types of things. Yeah, it's just.
I think even if you're just going, like if you are considering going, something would be, especially if you're going to like a third world country or something like that, I think just the perspective on life, even not even just as like a Christian and like being able to like minister and have people minister to you in another country and like that amazing experience, but even just going in like in the experience of like realizing how good we have it here in America and like how blessed we are and how much God has blessed us and how blessed we are to be like living in this country and being born in this country, I think is just like that as a reason itself should be a reason to go.
I guess maybe like you're not there for a very long time. Maybe just being prepared, like you might not help them that much. You know, like you can only do so much for like, you can't just expect to go and be like the savior. Like you're not going to be, but still like on a mission trip that we went to, we were still able to pour into them and they were able to do the same to us.
I don't really know what I would say. I don't know, just like expect the unexpected.
Expect the unexpected. That's a good one.
Especially in Honduras.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say anybody wanting to go on a trip, whether it be in here in America, you know, a third world country, anywhere where you're going to minister, you know, you're going on a mission trip, and whatever that mission trip looks like, whatever, you know, if it's a service project or if it's something similar to like what we did, you know, where we're going down and participating in a conference, I would say, like to go embracing them and who they are, you know, not with your own agenda. Mm-hmm. Don't go as, especially like to another country, don't go as an American, you know, or like with an American culture. Like I'm not saying, you know, deny your, you know, your status as an American or your patriotism or anything like that. Like, you know, you want, like, we need to have this knowledge that we are American citizens and we have it good, right? Like just being an American citizen is, you know, it makes us rich in a lot of natural ways. Yeah. But going and being willing to acknowledge, like, I'm going to another country that's not American, so don't expect to have American type things and, you know, American culture and, you know, feel like it's wrong or they're wrong or they could do so much better if only they were like this. Like, go wanting to fully embrace and immerse yourself in their culture and bringing, like, what do you have to bring to better them, you know, in a sense of like, you know, spiritual you know, all of that, but like not when it comes to culture. Like
I
go prepared to, you know, immerse yourself in that culture. Like even looking into like, you know, the foods that they eat, and you know what is common practices. And you know, like when I was in India, like I made sure I had to make sure that my shoulders were covered all of the time. It wouldn't have been a big deal to them. I don't think it would have been a big deal to them if I hadn't covered my shoulders, because they knew I was American. But doing that, it opened them up to like embrace me in an even greater way. And I think like doing that, you can build together stronger.
Well,
Right?
yeah, and I think going with a mind, like if you go with the mindset of like, we're gonna help them, like, or like we're gonna help them get to a better place, or like
Teach them how to be American.
Yeah, teach them how to be American. Like I think that just loses a lot of opportunity for you to really connect with the people. And learning about other cultures, I think, is really important too, just for any person in general. Like I think learning about other cultures is important. And if you're going on a mission trip and you want to connect with the people and you want to be able to minister to the people, not expecting it to be like America and like how we run things, or even like how we run things at our church. Like we're connected to their church, but like they're not going to run things the same way that we run things at our church. Not going with the expectation that things are going to be run the same way helps you receive a lot more, and it helps give opportunity for you to minister a lot more.
Absolutely, I would agree.
Thanks
For
watching.
Never enough.